iPhone 5 versus iPhone 5S versus iPhone 6 versus iPhone SE versus iPhone 6S versus iPhone 7 versus iPhone 7 Plus. Which should you buy? Coming up right now. Let's go. So what is up, guys? Nick here from Everything Tech, help you to master your technology, and welcome to this massive iPhone collection right here. We're going to talk about which should you buy. Now on the table here, I got pretty much every iPhone series of phones since Apple iPhone 5, which was 2012. Now I don't have the 6 Plus and I don't have the small 6S, so those are going to have to do for this discussion. But this is not a performance test. We got a mega performance test between all of these coming on Sunday to the channel, so you might want to subscribe to see that. But we're going to talk about which should you buy. And the reason I'm doing this is because a lot of people comment to me almost every day, Nick, should I buy a 5S or a 5? Nick, should I buy a 6? Should I buy an SE? Vice versa, and pretty much all these on the table. So let's begin with the 5. Okay, so let's begin with the iPhone 5. So the iPhone 5 is the oldest iPhone of the bunch here. This is a 2012 Apple device, and this was the first 4-inch iPhone of its kind, and a very legacy design here. Come way down in price, and this is the 5 and 5C series. They no longer support iOS, so rest in peace iPhone 5 in terms of software updates. We're going forward with 10.3.2 and above on 64-bit devices only. So that means 5S and above here. So I cannot recommend you go pick up an iPhone 5 anymore. It's pretty dead. It still works well here on 10.3. It's just not fast at all, and I highly recommend you should not buy this phone here. If you already got a 5 though, it'll probably last a little while in terms of everyday use, but definitely do not recommend you picking this one up. Let's get on to the 5S. Oh, 5S, pretty much everyone's favorite iPhone on this channel anyway. I did a couple of videos on the iPhone 5S, well, quite a few on the 5S, and the reason I did a lot of videos is because when I first started this channel, this was the iPhone I was rocking with until we built ourselves up to the point where we could get other iPhones, which we did. All the funds that are received from this channel go into this channel so we can keep this baby going. So that's where the 5S comes in and why I've kept it around here on the channel. Classic design, it improves on the iPhone 5 in pretty much every way, and this iPhone still will be updated to iOS 11 going forward. So the 5S, yes, pretty ancient in terms of its specifications, but it does have a 64-bit CPU, the first for any smartphone, and I've covered this one plenty on the channel, so we're not going to talk too far about this one. But if you're on an extreme tight budget, like you have less than $200 to spend on a smartphone and you just got to have an Apple product, this might be the way to go in terms of if you're buying it contract free. Now, if you buy an iPhone with a contract, of course, you're going to be able to get, rebates and plans. So I would definitely skip this one altogether. But if you're paying cash and you want an old, cheaper iPhone, the iPhone 5S will still suit you well. Just go with something higher than 16 gigabytes because that will get frustrating here. But the iPhone 5S still performs well, but it's just not crazy fast anymore. Pretty good camera on that baby nonetheless though. Battery life does suffer quite a bit here on the 5 and the 5S. Let's talk about the 6. So I just made a video a couple of days ago, the iPhone 6 2 years later, and this one is still, quite relevant because it kind of looks like the newer iPhones. You couldn't really tell if this is an iPhone 7 or a 6 based on the way it looks on first impressions. And it has an A8 CPU, which does perform quite well. This is the iPhone 7 over here, and you could see, let me put my password in here. But you can see this one does look about the same from the front. So you wouldn't even be able to tell if the person is using an iPhone 7 or if they're using an iPhone 6 here. So the iPhone 6 in terms of looks and design is still recommended overall. In terms of performance, it has 1 gig of RAM, so it's not going to last too much longer into the future. The build quality, not the best on the iPhone 6, but I wouldn't spend more than $200 to go ahead and pick up an iPhone 6. It's just not worth too much more than that. Even though it looks really premium, which it does still feel pretty premium, it's just getting old and it's not worth more than like $200. And that's if you're buying cash once again. Let's go into the iPhone SE now. So actually, let's do the 6S. So the iPhone 6s, this is the 6s Plus, but I want to talk about them simultaneously because they are literally pretty much the same phone, just the 6s Plus is larger. Yeah, there's optical image stabilization on the 6s Plus. I am aware of that. And there's also, you know, maybe a 1080p display on here. I'm also aware of that. But because it's a smaller Retina display, the iPhone 6s's screen looks about the same as this iPhone 6s Plus's screen here on this device. But this is a very recommended device. It's just as fast as the iPhone 7 Plus, just about. Not quite as fast, but it's only like maybe 10% slower. It's a beast. The iPhone 6s Plus is still a beast, and it's come way down in price. And you can have an iPhone 6s Plus for a reasonable price if you know where to look. I'm saying refurbished, maybe used, swappa.com, eBay, stuff like that. You can find this one for a discounted price rather than paying $650 to $750 at Apple. So the iPhone 6s Plus does give you second gen Touch ID, so it is pretty quick here. It also gives you a nice camera on the back that's capable up to 4K video recording, 12 megapixel eyesight, can compete with the best of the best even today in the iPhone 6s Plus, and very fast device. Now the screen is a little bit cooler than the P3 display on the iPhone 7 Plus, but I do like it, and it does have 3D touch, a first for the iPhone series in the 6s. So if you're thinking about getting a 6s or a 6s Plus, go with the 6s Plus if you want better battery life and a slightly better screen. If you want a more portable body but slightly worse battery life, or you don't care about that and you want to save just a little bit more, the smaller 6s is actually a little bit cheaper than the 6s Plus. So that's my assessment on the 6s series. Talking about the 6 Plus, because I kind of skipped over that one. This is the 6, but talking about the 6 Plus, I would skip that one out due to its bending problem. I know it's been a little bit overhyped in the media, but even this one doesn't feel that strong, so I would kind of stray away from the 6 Plus if I was you. Now, on the iPhone SE, this was actually announced after the iPhone 6, and I just dropped it earlier, so I got a couple nicks on there. Probably not going to see it on camera, but right there. The iPhone SE, this is a 16 gig model. This is a value right here. This is an extremely good value here in the Apple iPhone SE. This thing is as fast as pretty much any of these phones on the table, if not faster than all of them, except for the 7. But sometimes the SE is actually faster than the 7, and that's because it's pushing way less pixels than the iPhone 7. So if you're thinking about getting an Apple iPhone SE, this one is still actually available for sale. They just announced the 128 gigabyte capacity for the iPhone SE, and this product, I've been really happy with the iPhone SE just because it's very small and it's blazing fast, and because you don't have to reach so far to reach everything. You have like this little portable monster in your pocket, so it's like a little beast in your pocket. Now if you're a content consumer, like you consume a lot of content, read a lot of books, stay away from the SE. But if you're just somebody who uses their phone for basic tasks day in and day out, and you need something powerful in your pocket, the iPhone SE will not disappoint you. So I really do like the SE. I'm going to leave that one back on the table. I recommend it if you're into, trying to get a powerful iPhone at a cheaper price and you can live without the bigger screen. Now on to the iPhone 7. So the iPhone 7 is a little tricky. Tricky because the iPhone 7 carries on the tradition of the 6 series design, and it's going to cost you a little bit more to pick up an iPhone 7. So in terms of its value for money, it's not the highest value ratio. What I mean by that is that for what you pay, I don't think the iPhone 7 offers the best bang for the buck. You can get a Galaxy S7 for cheaper and you get a 2K display. So you only get a Retina display here. You don't get even a 1080p display here. So that's kind of disappointing, and it kind of pisses me off with the iPhone 7 series that I don't even get a 2K display. But this is not going to matter to everyone, and that's personal preference. But this is YouTube, and we're giving our personal preferences here, and your preference might differ. But in terms of power, the iPhone 7 is unbeatable. This thing is just a beast. It's blazing quick, one of the fastest phones I've ever used, and we do have the second generation Touch ID with a Taptic engine, no headphone jack though here. So if you did want a headphone jack, the best way to go if you want a 7 is to get a 6S or a 6S Plus to keep your headphone jack there. You can see none there on the 7. But where does the 7, give you good value for money? I think it's just really fast and it's got a really good camera, and that's where the iPhone 7 really lives up to its price point. It's still a little high in my book. I think the iPhone 7 should be sold for right around $600 rather than like $750 or something like that. So let's put the iPhone 6 or 7 there. And here's the King Daddy. Here is King Tut. This is the boy. This is my favorite iPhone of all of them, the iPhone 7 Plus. And the reason why all of my iPhones are not unlocked here, and the reason why this is my favorite iPhone of all of them, is the dual camera. So the dual camera setup gives you that telephoto lens and portrait mode. So if you're a photographer, a videographer, the iPhone 7 Plus is the way to go of the bunch. Also, it's got a beautiful large screen, and it just feels blazing quick. It has 3 gigs of RAM, so it does multitask a little bit better than the iPhone 7. And overall, just my favorite iPhone of all of these. Pretty much the same though as the iPhone 7, but still bigger screen, better camera. It's the way to go in terms of if you want the most premium Apple device. Now, is the Apple iPhone worth $1,000? I think it is. You know, I've pretty much gotten my money out of it already. In terms of using the camera, I think this thing has the ability to produce professional level, you know, pictures and videos for your business that can really make you the money right back that you spent on an iPhone 7 Plus. Is it higher than a Galaxy S7 Edge, OnePlus 3T? Absolutely, but you know what you're paying for. Do we even got to talk about it? You're paying for that logo right there. So that's the 7 Plus, and that's pretty much my video on all the iPhones and which should you buy. So for all of you who asked those questions in the comment section, Nick, should I buy iPhone 5 now? Should I buy 5S? Should I buy 6? Should I buy SE? Should I buy 6S Plus? Should I buy 7? Should I buy 7 Plus? This video should have been a one-stop shop to answer all of those questions and just add a little bit into your information bank if you're looking to research to buy one of these iPhones right here. Like I say, I got the full performance test of these guys on iOS 10.3 coming to the channel this Sunday, so stay tuned for that. Nick here, help you to master your technology. Which phone on the table do you like the best? And if you want to talk about why, drop it down below so we can chat about that. Be sure to be well. I will catch you all in the next one, and peace.